Tea. Hello, I'm called Ab, and welcome to the live stream. I did it. It happened. I got it all sorted out. So that is the Haislakyala theme song. I've got that playing automatically now when I want it to play on the live stream. And so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm just going to jump right into the what I had planned for today, and that is to do another root word analysis for you guys here. So this is the next entry. The root word is tuk, and it means awake or attentive. And this is root list word number 762 in the Wakashan Common Root List book from Lincoln and Rath from 1980. And this list of root words is in the Lincoln and Rath Haisla Hanaxiala Dictionary published in 1986. This list is on page 431. So what I did was I wrote down the root word, the definition of it, and then all of the root words that are based on, or all of the words that are based on that root word. And then I went into the middle section of the dictionary and I looked up each individual word. So this is my root word analysis process that I like to carry out. So the first word is tatagiladua. Tatagiladua. And this means to stay awake overnight. And this is on page 61. The next word is tagith. Tagith. That is singular. The plural form is tatagith. Tatagith. So I'm just noticing a typing error here. There's too many C's in here. This is a regular C that doesn't have to be there. So unfortunately, this is a PDF, so I can't edit that, but I'll fix that later on. And this means awake or to awaken, also on page 61. The next word is tiganakwala. Tiganakwala. And this means to wake up gradually, also on page 61. Next up is takila. Takila. That is the singular form. The plural form is tsitakila. Tsitakila. And that is policeman. Policeman, also on page 63. So it essentially means somebody who is always attentive. Somebody who's always watching, I guess, is another way you could say that. Next is tahid. Tahid. And this means to wake up in the morning. The previous word was on page 63. Takila is on page 63. Tahid is on page 68. And the last word here is, I'll move this up a little bit, tichtum. Tichtum. And this is a person who always wakes up early. And this is on page 68. So that is the root word analysis for this word, tik. And so you have the root word, which has its own meaning, and the meaning of the word changes depending on the suffixes that are being added. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of how word works in the Haisla language. So I'm switching back to my webcam here. So I just want to mention that there was no live stream last week as I was not feeling well. I was very much under the weather. I came down with strep throat, which was not fun at all. I would not recommend anybody getting strep throat. Try and avoid that if possible. And yeah, so I'm feeling better now. So I'm back here at work. So doing the live stream as I try to do every Friday. I've been as consistent as I've been able to manage. As I said, sometimes there's different factors that might prevent me from doing the live stream. For example, if I'm scheduled for vacation, I won't be doing a live stream during that time that I'm off work. If I'm not feeling well, again, I won't be doing a live stream as I'll be recovering from whatever illness I'm suffering from. There could be other factors that might come into play, such as training or public events that I might be a part of. So those are times where I will postpone the live streams. And I didn't let anybody know that there wasn't going to be a live stream last week, so I apologize for that, as I just decided on Friday morning that I wasn't going to work that day. So yeah, apologies for that, but I'll try and get the live streams going regularly when I can. So something else I wanted to mention is I've been showing you guys the website, the High Sakiala website, and yeah, I've been mentioning a few things here and there. For one thing, if you want to become a subscriber to the website, you can do that. There's a page. If you go to the menu, there's a section towards the right-hand side where it says Contact. If you hover over that, there will be a drop-down menu. One of those options will be Subscribe. So it'll take you to another web page. And what you can do is you can type in your email address, and you can submit that. And what will happen is that anytime a new blog post is added to the website, you will get an email notification. It'll actually show you the whole blog post in the email, so you can read it there. It'll also give you a link, so you can click on that link to actually go to the website, to the web page where the blog post is published. So there's actually been quite a few new subscribers, so that's great to see. Getting new subscribers almost every day, so that's awesome. And I'll try to add more things to the website, to the blog section of the website as much as I can. So that's something else I wanted to mention. Also regarding the website. So I mentioned the subscription feature. That's actually been a part of the website for a long time, basically as long as the website has been in existence. I started the website in 2018, and it was really a place for me to put all the resources that I've been studying and also the things that I've been creating. I create a lot of language resources like charts and diagrams and guides and things like that. So those are all there, and blog posts go up there, videos. So those are all there. Also, in terms of the website, I wanted to mention that besides the subscription feature and besides the blog posts, I also wanted to mention that if you have any language questions, that's something you can do, is you can send in questions. And yeah, so if you have any language questions, you can send them in a couple of different ways. You can go to the Facebook page, the High Sakiala Learners Facebook page, and I'll usually post a link to the live stream there, so you can use the comment section there to either ask a question or leave a comment. if you want to. So that's one way you can ask a question. Another thing you can do is you can send me an email. So if it's earlier in the week and you have a language question, you can send me that question, and what I'll do is I'll save it until the next live stream. And so I can answer your question live as I'm broadcasting on the live stream. And that's something else that you can do to interact with the program here. And so it's come to my attention that, basically I kind of think that a lot of people have language questions, and I'm not getting a lot of them coming in, so this would be a way for you to actually ask those questions and provide a little bit of interaction, and other people can watch as well and get answers to those questions, because other people might have the same questions that you have, and they just haven't gone around to asking. So I think that's a good way for people to kind of interact with the live stream here that I have going. So that's something that I would like to try and work in as I'm doing these live streams. So I've talked a little bit about why I'm doing the live streams. Originally I was doing recorded videos, but I found that it was taking a long time to actually do those videos because I'd have to record. Sometimes I'd have to do some editing, and that was a lot of work. I'd have to transcode the video, which basically means making another copy of it. I'd have to wait for that to happen. That usually takes a long time. And then I'd have to go to YouTube. I'd have to upload that. That takes time. And then I have to share the links and all those other things. So it winds up being a lot of work. So if I do the live stream, it's easier for me because I can do the planning and things like that. I can get things ready to do the live stream. But once I start streaming, everything is live. And then once I stop the stream, what happens is that it basically records the video, records the live stream. So as soon as I stop the live stream, a recorded replay will be ready for people to watch. Usually, not right away, usually a few minutes afterwards. So it creates a little bit of more time for me in terms of the effort that goes into into making recorded videos. So I'm saving myself some time and some effort instead of doing all that work and to do recorded videos. I can just hit stream, start the live stream, do my show. Once I stop, it's ready, basically. So if you're not watching live, you can watch the replay, and that's another way you can keep up to date as to what's happening with the live stream and with the website and with the YouTube channel and things like that. So just wanted to mention those things. And I'm checking the chat here. I'm not seeing any comments, so that's okay. I'm going to check the Facebook page. Not seeing any comments there, any questions, so that's okay. So I'm going to move on to the next section. So I'm going to open up my Word file. So I have a new feature that I want to include in the live stream, and I call this WOW. So WOW stands for Word of the Week. And the word of this week is siechend. Siechend. This means to peel bark or solid dirt off a log. That's one meaning. Another meaning of it is to peel skin off oolakins before eating. So this is a word that I had not come across before. So I figured this was something that would be very interesting for people, especially this part here. I did not know we had a word for this. So it's very interesting to know that we do have a specific word for peeling the skin off oolikans before eating, and that word is sichend, and that is the word of the week. The next feature, I started this last week. This is called How Do You Say It? So this is where I share some words that I often hear mispronounced and show you the accurate pronunciation for them. So this first word is gyuqualunt. Gyuqualunt. So pay close attention to this second syllable. And listen closely when I say gyuqualunt. Gyuqualunt. So a lot of people miss this middle section here. I tend to hear ka, gyuqualunt, but it's actually qua. So you have a K followed by a small raised W. So this tells us that it is a rounded K. Qua. Gyuqualunt. And this means fellow villagers. And something else I want to mention here is that gyuqualunt is just a description. So it describes fellow villagers, people that you live in a place with. You can't really use this word by itself, though. You can't just say gyuqualunt by itself. If you did that, people would have questions. One question would be, whose fellow villagers are you talking about? Whose gyuqualunt are you talking about? So if I were talking about my fellow villagers, I would add a suffix to this. And this suffix is unts. So if I said gyuqualutants, this would mean my fellow villagers. So now what I've done here is I've taken a word that is just a description, that just describes fellow villagers, and I've added context by adding this suffix. So I'm not just talking about any old fellow villagers, I'm talking about my fellow villagers. And that is a good practice in terms of using the Haida language. Single words are descriptions only. So you can't really use single words by themselves. It's really good practice to add context to them. So I've added context to gyuqualunt by adding this suffix, and now it means my fellow villagers, gyuqualutants. This next word is talos. Talos. And this is smoked fish. So again, if I wanted to talk about my smoked fish, I would say talosans. Talosans. Oops. That would mean my smoked fish. And something else I wanted to add here is that so this ENC, unts, this means it's mine, so it shows possession, but it also shows location. So this means gyuqualutants means my fellow villagers, but it means that they're not here when I'm speaking. And that's appropriate for my current situation because I'm actually in town. I'm not in the village. So I'm not around my fellow villagers here. So they are away. They are somewhere else while I'm talking about them. And when I say talosans, this means it's my smoked fish, but it's not here as I'm talking about it. It's somewhere else. So it could be in the village. It could be in a place that is far away, but the location of it is known. So if I say talosans, that means my smoked fish somewhere else, away. So I just wanted to point that out. Hopefully that helps people a little bit more in terms of understanding. And this is really what I focus on when I teach the language, is teaching people how the language works. So I take a really deep dive into the mechanics of the language. And the reason that I do this is because once you understand this, what it allows you to be able to do is to process the language. So instead of trying to rely on your memory for single words and phrases that you've heard, instead of just trying to memorize those, adding context to them allows you to understand it better because you've put them into context and you have a better understanding of how it works. So what I've been showing you today with how do you say it, with those two words, what I showed you is something called morphology. And it's a linguistic term, and morphology refers to what happens when you take different parts of words and combine them. So a root word is what they call a morpheme. So the beginning of a word, that's a root word, that's a morpheme. A suffix is also a morpheme. So when you combine morphemes, that's called morphology. And sometimes there's changes that happen when you combine suffixes and root words. So that's something that I like to teach people and point out to them so that they get a better understanding of how the language works. And this is how I've studied the language. So if it worked for me, I'm hoping it'll work for everybody else who's studying the language. So that's really why I take this approach to teaching the language and also studying it. So in terms of studying, what I started off this live stream with, the root word analysis, that's something that I do on a regular basis. And it's a process that I invented to help me understand a lot of different aspects of the language. So I'm studying morphology. I'm studying how different parts of words fit together, the changes that happen when you combine suffixes and root words. I'm also expanding my vocabulary. So instead of just one word, like tagith, I now have at least half a dozen words that are related to that one word. And they're related through word structure. They're related to each other because they start with the same root word. And those are two reasons why I really like to do that root word analysis. And it's something that I do on a regular basis. And I have a lot of those saved up. So I'll be sharing those with you regularly on the live streams. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed this and that you learned a few things by watching this live stream. And that's it for today's live stream. So I'll end things here. And I'll say Anathach Nugutla Kan Aka Ux. Thank you for coming. Anathach Nugutla Kan Kakawata Ux. Thank you for your attention. Until next time, remember, learning is its own reward. Exquiguelas. Wah.